I was on the board, 3 or 4 years ago, we were asking for information about how the tuition rate was calculated for Middleton. Have you ever been provided with that information, and did you get a financial breakout similar to Governor Wentworth so that you could make some educated decisions in comparisons?
They weren't able to provide this kind of a spreadsheet here. Our understanding was that the accounting was set up, we understood the accounting was set up differently. They weren't able to match it. I think it might have to do with the fact that Governor Wentworth is cooperative. I'm not sure, but I guess the structure of the finance is a bit different, so they don't quite do the same thing.
Is there any transparency in how the tuition rate was calculated?
Well, what we received was an 18 or 20-page document that just had every single line item in it. And that's, when we went down through it, we identified, oh, there's a line for SA portion, there's a line for salary, school committee. So it also took and broke out certain elements and groupings like transportation. This transportation will have a certain numerical code at the beginning. And so there were identifications of the out-of-district placement, transportation, food service. And when you go to a tuition spreadsheet, calculation, one-page spreadsheet, you'll see those totalized values deducted out with certain steps. But that was actually the first time that I know of the board member we ever received that information. As a non-board member, we have asked them for that information ever since I can remember. And that's the first time we ever received a full breakout of all the information. The record speaks for itself in deliberative sessions over the years, because, as you know, there were numerous changes and errors made in the past, well beyond the current administration we have. Going back 8, 10, 12 years ago, it caused a lot of consternation in the community and a lot of upsetness. So,
Can I ask one more question about the specific side? When it says identifies Farmington SE apportionment and elected official salaries, Middleton's tuition is included in that Farmington elected official salaries?
yes, we can apportion it.
Okay.
I heard that their election costs are also included in that.
Thank you.
They are. I believe the solicitor treasurer. So that was kind of that plea was kind of like a last stop type thing, and we put together a withdrawal plan that encompassed 3 elements. One was we determined that the withdrawal was feasible and suitable. So we had some elements. One was to build a K-6 school and do a tuition waiver for Governor Wentworth. And when we went to the State Board of Education in December, their legal counsel protested this Middleton School District plan to withdraw. And their feeling was that there was a potential, we have 2 articles on the warrant, one to build a school and one to do the tuition agreement 7 to 12. Potentially the voters could vote down the K-6 school and approve the Governor Wentworth 7 to 12. Which is a fairly reasonable concern. But what they protested was that, in effect, what the state board approved withdrawal plan, that would allow Middleton to unilaterally adjust the area agreement. And that, the way that would occur is if we defeated the K-6 building school and proceeding with 7 to 12, we've got to move that way. So on that basis, they protested it. What we came back with was a plan to interlock all the articles together. And what you'll see is at the bottom of each article, 2, 5, and 6, clearly said, passage of this article also requires the passage of the other 2 articles. All 3 of them say the same thing. So, on that basis, along with more information about the school and educational programming that again were Farmington protests as well, ended up rendering an affirmative vote for the State Board of Education, which unanimously approved the withdrawal commentary about, you know, the rush and all, but between August and September, finally getting a definite no at that point, we had to engage. We were commissioned by the state, by the voters, to come up with a plan to look at. That's what we did. I am going to indicate that Frank Marinix, I'm going to make this clear, is a very well-regarded architectural firm when it comes to public education in the state of New Hampshire. So I hope nobody is walking away with a thought or the belief that they're new at this or don't know what they're doing. That building over there, you could probably go to other projects that they've done. You'll see some consistency in the design and the planning. It's really, in effect, boilerplate. Things don't really change a lot in K-6 schools. They're not that unique and they're not that different. If you go up to Governor Wentworth, you're going to see some very uniqueness that's developed in accordance with the school culture up there and what the needs are in the area for the upper level grades.
I want to apologize if I'm backpedaling. This is my first meeting in a while, but I was wondering if you could explain why Farmington didn't want to educate. Was there a reason? I've seen information, but I have never seen a reason as to why they didn't want to educate the K-6 kids. And doesn't that negatively impact them as well?
Yes.
So they're going to have to come up with a lot more money than they're losing essentially all of our tuition.
If this passes, there's going to be a reallocation that's going to have to be done in that school system. And I think you heard one of our residents just mention what some of that is going to entail.
Yeah. So what's the reasoning for not wanting to educate our K-6 children? Was there any reason?
I didn't hear any reason, so I would just ask you to direct that question to that board. They're the ones that can provide you that answer.
And you honestly don't know?
I do not know the answer. No reason was ever given. I think it's fair, you know, I'm not trying not to answer your question,
No, I understand.
but I do think that it would be very appropriate to find out, you know, directly yourself, you know, or anybody in this room to ask them the question. I think it's a fair question.
The only explanation they ever gave us was, we want all your kids or none of your kids.
So when they had, and I guess that's my second question, when they had refused to educate K-6, it was after it had already been brought up that we were withdrawing 7 through 12.
Yes, they knew that we had, once we received the tuition abstract in November 2012,
Okay.
we brought that out to the public. We had very clearly known that this is what we're doing.
Yeah.
This is what we're looking at. There's no contract, there's nothing. The contract, the agreement was made by both boards in December of 2017. But again, we just, you know, put everything out in the open, make sure everybody understood what was going on. And in fact, we'll start with the meetings. We want to get informed. Annually, we put on 2 public presentations about the Governor Wentworth so people get better informed. So it's been a very long process, you know, over time, doing all of this.
So the best assumption is it was a tactical approach, probably based on emotion. The fact that we were pulling our children out from 7 to 12, and this was their way of kind of.
Let's talk about
Okay.
Middleton.
I think that those decisions were made on April 18th and September 9th, and the minutes are posted on the
Okay.
website, so
And
you
even
could
some
read through them, and
videos,
maybe, when there's some videos, and maybe
Okay.
that will give you some more information.
Thank you.
Karen.
So this here is basically what we have. What it is. Focus, all right, I can't see that.
It's supposed to
Yeah,
be.
There's been some discussion about making clarity as to what
To
You
the
win.
right.
Remember that one, okay?
Yes.
So,
Yes, too.
there's a, basically, the general office, pretty much the receiving area where you're gonna have your admin secretary. Media center, that's the new term, or it's not really new, it's been that way for quite a while, for the school library. Men's and women's rooms are there, obviously, for the public, like, you'll see a set of doors off to the left. This will isolate the regular grade level classroom areas. So in the event of a public, event, those doors can be secured for, anybody accessing those areas. And so it gives you a multi-purpose room. In that multi-purpose room, in essence, I think it was Lanny mentioned, is about 54 by 54. I don't have a tape measure, but those of you that know the municipal building, if you've ever been upstairs, the full length from end to end is about 52 feet. So you can square that off to get a sense of how big this room is. In addition, there's an 1,800 square foot stage area. Classrooms, we are putting in space for preschool, kindergarten, first, second, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth grade. Somebody asked a question about the size of the classrooms. We get questions about, should we be putting more classrooms on, or maybe we can downsize it. We're kind of getting questions all over the place on this. So what I really want to make sure everybody understands is that this is a conceptual plan based upon our current students right now. And these are things that may evolve and change. The one thing that cannot change is if this project gets approved, the value for the article of the bond cannot change. So there's discussion about, what kind of cost breakdowns. This is based on a 27,500 square foot building. Site work, $880,000. General construction is $4,500,000. Masonry, interior brick. I know some people have thrown out there something about going wood structure or what have you. Those are all considerations that can be taken into play during construction, but I recommend people think about the short-term and long-term use and maintenance of that facility. There's some values put in here for equipment, basically your furniture and all that. Technology primarily is, the infrastructure, the backbone, if you will, of computer technology and computers within the admin area. Administrative costs. This gets into the actual design, the survey, the geotech. Geotech is really do soil sampling over in the lot. This facility, as shown, back look at the site plan down at the bottom, you'll see the alpaca farm off to the right, and that should give you a reference point of the alpaca farm, or formerly known as Paradise Farm, just off to the left. That you'll see the edge of the right side of the school building, and then it'll start going over from there. Financing. This is the part where everybody wants to sit down. Current interest rate. We're looking at two different approaches. One led us to the USDA, and that started out because we found out about community loan grants, and we all thought, oh wow, this is a great opportunity to do something in town. And it turns out that they had, I think, something like a $35,000 or $40,000 grant available. We thought it was a lot more. It turns out it wasn't. But at the same time, they turned around and said, but by the way, we do community loans. And I said, well, you do open schools. Sure. So what came out of that is a approach, unlike the municipal bond bank, where it's really like a regular fixed rate mortgage, although you make either semi-annual or annual payment. And right now, the rates are 4.38% for approximately 30 years, works in this event is that we find a local bank that's willing to allow us to borrow money up to the $6.5 million from starting in July, going forward till the project's complete, which would be 2 years from now, July 2016. As we draw off that money, we're paying interest, similar to those of you who have played general contractor building a home. You make interest payments on the principal you draw off. So it has a much more appealing approach. Where a municipal bond bank, when you pass the bond, you go to the bond bank and they sell the bond, nest it together with other bonds, other communities on the market, and you get that $6.5 million right up front in the account. You begin paying interest on all that money. So, again, these interest rates are not locked in. They're subject to change depending on what the market bears, and that goes for both the municipal bond bank or the USDA. So what's the construction timeline look? March 2014, we vote. April 2014, complete the contracts, roof surveying, geotech contracts, the programming, real preliminary type stuff, and then in June to December, that's when the actual design development, building committee, etc., all start occurring along with permitting. January 2015, bid go out to contractors for a competitive bid. We'll complete the contract for the contractor in February, and hopefully in April we begin construction. Groundbreaking. So we did some analysis as far as tuition. We did this really to kind of get an idea of what we're paying, where things are going, and just making some comparative assessments. We gave you some interest rates that were based on past 10 years. I should say interest increases, and percentage increases on tuition going ahead to future years. And I use those percentage rates to project and estimate where we're going in future tuitions. So pre-K to 8 year-end tuition, which has an average annual increase for the past 10 years of 4.96%. Continued on to the fiscal years that you see going across the top of the page. We took the 7 to 8 enrollment, which is 35 students, and utilized the tuition rate, multiplied it by 12,656 and brought it down. And again, it keeps going on the same with the 9 to 12 enrollment going on. So in essence, you'll see a $1.568 million cost for the 7 to 8 area total only. The K of 6 is separate, it's not including this 1.5. The Governor Wentworth plan has 126 students. We come up with $1,379,000. Now, as discussed earlier, the special ed costs are not included in the tuition agreement with the $10,948. We obtained the raw data from the SAU 61 as to what we currently provide special education services, provided up to Governor Wentworth, to the administration up there. They in turn took a look at it and evaluated, provided us an estimate that will be an additional $106,935 per year, which ends up with a total of $1,486,000. The difference between the two is $82,000. And then as you go out in future years, you'll see change. We are using a 3% projected average annual increase per year. We saw some years earlier in the slide, 5%, 6%. We saw the last three at 1.9% for Governor Wentworth. Keep in mind, again, Governor Wentworth is an accredited high school. It has a higher level of standard in education. Farmington currently is not accredited. So what's the savings if Article 2, Article 5, and Article 6 are all approved? Well, in the first year, fiscal year 15-16, we have that $82,000 because our 7 to 12 will be going to Governor Wentworth. This fiscal year 16-17, what we did is we factored in the SA apportionment, because in our opinion, the SA apportionment for Farmington should not be included in our tuition. We pay our own apportionment, Farmington has theirs. You heard about rental. Well, just for K to 6, the rent savings is $82,900 fiscal year 16-17, and this would be when our students are going to our own school. So instead of paying rent, that $82,000 can be going towards a bond payment capital. And likewise, we have the savings going forward. Tax impact. Todd and I spent till midnight last night doing some of this stuff, as many other nights we've done. And Todd, I just want to make sure I get this right. This is based upon 518 of not offsetting the 1.1 million.
That's correct.
That's correct. So this is using the USDA loan, and this is going to show you the tax impact. I'm not hearing any oh my
Can you
gods.
explain it? That's
Oh my god.
Oh my God.
Get
So I
it,
see
get it,
blue and
get
I
it
see
ready.
red.
Get
Help me
ready.
understand it.
Get ready. So, taking the schedule of payments that are, again, are projected and estimated depending on the financial terms, we are looking at fiscal year 16 at a cost, additional cost of $4.10 per thousand in your assessed value of your home. If you have a home worth $100,000, $410 more.
That's an increase.
That's an increase in addition to what you are already paying in taxes.
Projected
now.
increase, starting 2016.
Yes. All right. It then goes up to $5.18, 2017.
Well, that bump is basically starting on the school.
Starting the school, getting school, getting it done. You knew it was gonna be a problem.
For instance, we need computers, textbooks, all the education materials. We don't own any of that. There's an estimate out there of about $400,000. So we took and split it up, 200,000 in one year, 200 in the other. Again, trying to diffuse out costs, and try to spread them out to reduce the impact.
That's the actual budget impact.
So if you look off to the left, you're gonna see $450,000 at that very peak. All right?
That's the increase.
That's the increase above what we're currently paying right now.
That's at its peak.
Yes. Yes.
And there are, no, it's okay, I don't know how to ask that question.
What are you trying to get at? So if you have a $150,000 home.
Yeah, I get that. How many variables are not included in that? How many possible variables are there? Like tuition, there's a possibility of tuition increase through Governor Wentworth, 5, about 1 to 3%. So those things are not included.
If there's a, for instance, well, in this year, this is really looking at the total picture. So if yes, Governor Wentworth suddenly had a percentage increase over 3%, that will influence your tax rate.
So there are the variables that could raise that. We won't necessarily know what those are or what the impact would be over time.
There's also some variables
That
as
could
to
bring it
where
down.
where we are right now. And those are unknowns that we have no control over.
You you're saying flip side, have we, if we didn't do this?
Yes.
Okay,
Just understand there's unknowns
Yes.
on both sides,
right,
not just,
Sure.
one side thing. I will share my opinion though, that Governor Wentworth and that district only can count for half of our students, and in essence, it would be out of our control. However, in my review, and looking at the district, I do hope people take up the offer on the open house, that when you get there, you're gonna get a real good sense of stability, consistency, planning, and environment.
I understand, I just threw that out as an example, because it was a concrete example, but my point was, there are other variables that can affect that rate, it could bring it, but there are also other variables that can bring it down too, right?
You had mentioned earlier in the meeting today, state adequacy aid. Right now, there isn't any, but that is something that
Okay.
became available in the future could significantly.
Building, New Hampshire school building
Right.
construction aid,
Right.
yes.
How about, this might be a dumb question, but how about the census impact, there be any funds allocated to us through the state?
The census,
Yeah, will we be affected by, is there possible funds that we, or grants that we can apply to that would help us?
there are grants out there. We did ask for an estimate from the administration. What we've heard is that there's not a whole lot. We still have the adequacy aid as far as the general adequacy that every community gets. But so far, I think we've got numbers somewhere around the area, like maybe $20,000 or something like that. Title one, Title two, certain qualifications we need. I don't think it's been fully exhausted yet. I suspect that there are more federal funds out there available, but again, that's a variable we don't know. We're really trying to project the worst case scenario.
Right.
What people don't want shockers. Janet?
I don't know how anything with the census would affect us, because quite frankly, we're not listed in Stratford County, we're listed in another county, and we may not get any benefits from that.
Karen?
I was just curious, I thought that, is this worst case scenario, is this if we don't have any savings, or is this receiving built in?
This is kind of a worst case scenario.
Worst case scenario.
What we're looking
So when you go to that next slide, and you show the impact of 388.50, you're anticipating that to be the worst case scenario?
that is the peak year. You look right as far as tax impact, right up in the left, that peak in the red, that's that value right there. So we're not giving you the values as a decline going down.
You're giving us the greatest impact,
Yeah,
so that's as bad as it's going to get.
as projected, that's it. So what happens if Article 2 or Article 5 or Article 6 are not approved? Remember, any one article does not get approved, none of them, they all fail. The current area agreement continues. Farmington Board sets the tuition rate by December 31st for the area agreement. Done a lot of discussion about that. They propose a budget, they put it in, get the tuition rate. Then we have budget committee, and then we have voters at deliberative session, as there was a motion here on the floor today to zero out the bonds. And as happened in the past in Farmington, those of us who've been around long enough, we went from 8 million to 7 million. There was a $1 million drop at the deliberative session.
So
It
we
passed.
still,
Our tuition rate was established December 31st, so it continued forward on that basis, okay? So there's that lack of control, that inability to control what actually occurs. On the other side of it is, someone could say, well, Ken, you're gonna go to Governor Wentworth, right? And if we do that, then Governor Wentworth can do whatever they want up there, right? Yeah, they can. But every increase they make up there, they're paying it too. Whatever they vote on in the general fund, when the voters get done, is the increase that we get the increase on. So if they want to increase it 10%, Jack's gonna have a real busy time at his board meeting.
I'm not gonna order you at that push.
So, but So however it influences, however, the difference is, however that goes up, it's gonna directly influence the education the children get in that school system. So if it does go up, we know that our students are getting the same value. We don't have that scenario right now because of the timing of when it gets not set in place, and that's the tuition rate in December 31. So anything can change between December 31 until the March vote, or deliberative session, I should say.
So if they, at deliberative session in Farmington, the taxpayers decide to drop the budget, say by $1 million,
Yeah.
we still pay the original tuition on the
Right.
the million plus, increase of million, we don't ever get anything back?
Nope.
Okay.
Unless they want to write us a check, they could.
Have they ever?
No, I'm just saying, they could do that, though.
But in
That's
the
up to
past,
them.
they haven't.
So, again, we continue on with a high school that's not accredited. There have been some residents here that have commented that their students, their children have gone on to college and they've had to take remedial classes to get caught up. Which obviously goes with, what's a credit at a college institution?
$700.
$700 per credit, so a class is usually 3 credits.
So you're
Whatever the
replacing
meeting
college,
has, so there's some cost there.
you're replacing
So-
college costs before you even get started.
No say on curriculum or area schools. There is something in the area there that says that there's a joint board will convene 3 to 4 times a year right now. I will say that the board made strong petition about becoming accredited, and that was rejected. Because the board felt that accreditation is an important piece, and an important accountability piece by a third party that would ensure that education is being delivered to a high standard. Farmington schools, renovation repair. Go ahead.
As I understand it, the RSA with the state, when you enter into an area agreement, one of the provisions of that is that if a school, if a sending district is sending to a school that has accreditation, and that school loses their accreditation, there is an option for you to remove your students and send them to other schools.
Correct.
So if the school that you're sending them to has no accreditation, you have no control over the curriculum, the standard. If the standard drops, you have no option to remove your students because they were never accredited in the first place.
That would be a strict interpretation of the statute right now as it's read, yes. I would agree with that. But that was put into play in 1992, and it was put into law based on what I've read in the executive committee minutes, the legislation went through. They had a lot of complaints in a scenario in which some districts, Senate districts, had agreed upon agreements, and they watched the quality of education drop down, but they were paying the same amount of money, and they were getting upset. So the legislature turned around and said, put that provision in there. However, it said that it was only effective for school districts that negotiate or amend their agreements after the effective date of that statute in 1992. So right now, really, because Farmington's not accredited to begin with, they can't lose what they don't have. So we're in this kind of a conundrum, so to speak, of what do we do? We're really ultimately being pigeonholed into this one situation of what we have now for articles. For you, so. But clearly, the state legislature has taken and established a policy that they do in fact support accreditation by means of putting that legislation into law. They would have done it if they didn't agree with the path.
I just have a question regarding that. Given that the statute exists, is it, suppose I'll say, is it legal to enter into an area agreement with a school that's not accredited?
Yeah. Yeah,
You tell them if their Farmington schools are renovation repair due.
that was my next.
Okay, could you expand on that? Because I'm curious, are we paying for their renovation and
contributing towards, oil plant maintenance, repairs. Right now, we're paying maintenance, and repair of those buildings as we stand right now.
Okay, so, I thought back on a different slide, maybe I'm wrong, correct me if I'm wrong, that we pay a rental fee.
Yes.
So if I don't own my home and I rent a home, isn't my landlord responsible for the repairs?
You'll have to look at your agreement with your landlord to see what that says.
Karen, to clarify, no major repairs being budgeted in the actual operating budget. There are routine maintenance items that happen in every school district all over the state. Broken window, oil burners need to be cleaned, those kinds of maintenance items. For instance, last summer, the entire back parking lot of Henry Wilson was paved for about $77,000. You didn't contribute to that. It was
We did.
No, it was done in a separate warrant article.
Okay, that's what, thank you for
Capital
answering.
warrant article. This year, there are 3 capital warrant articles to reconstruct some athletic fields, to sand and refinish the junior floors at the Henry Wilson High School, and to repair or replace the air conditioning unit on top of the high school.
And that's
Those are all
not
separate
impacting-
warrant articles that have nothing to do with the operating budget, they're not part of the tuition calculation.
Thank you for clarifying that.
Have there been repairs that have been done in the operating budget?
Not since I've been there.
Janet?
So, let me paraphrase from the last Farmington School Board meeting, when you informed the school board that there are major repairs that they better be prepared for the Henry Wilson. Exactly where is that money going to come from?
Over time, that's why I'm a member of the capital improvement committee for the town, so that we can try to put together a cohesive plan for dealing with the capital items, Janet. There are several capital funds that they've established over the years. For instance, they have one for the high school for renovations and repairs that has about $750,000. When it comes time to do the high school roof, that's where the majority of the money will come from. There are other accounts for facilities that have money in them that we might use to address a $100,000 heating system at the Henry Wilson, for instance. All of those would be done outside of the operating budget because they don't belong in the operating budget. They're a separate, one-time, large expenditure that you're not going to build into an operating budget.
But some of those monies that are put into those capital reserves don't necessarily come out of the fund balance. They're raised through taxation, so that,
Actually, they don't tend to do that. They tend to take them out of the fund balance at the end of the year. They don't tend to take them too much out of separate appropriations, at least in my 2 years.
I sat in Farmington a couple of weeks ago, and that's not totally true.
I have a question. You said that the money comes out of the fund balance. The money that are in the fund, what's that? In many cases. Did Middleton contribute to any of those funds that are going in the fund? They might have contributed to the fund balance that's left using the issue. They might have. But I guess my point was to Karen's point, if we're going to repave a parking lot, or if we're going to spend $150,000 to reconstruct athletic fields, those aren't going into the operating. Those are going to be separate warrant articles. They're not going to be operating.
My next question is, for the current area agreement, what would happen if we stayed under the current area agreement and for some reason Farmington needed to take out a bond for whatever reason?
When they do that, they're basically providing for the education of the students, and what's in the area statute will say that if we withdraw while it's a bond, there'll be a penalty, and we have to pay and contribute towards that bond. Part of the process. If we go back to the 2004 feasibility study, one of the elements that determined that their opinion was not feasible was that we were going to have to pay a penalty to the tune of something like $8 million to withdraw from Farmington that they had put into place capital improvements to accommodate our students. So it creates a situation where if you want to build a school, or you have a different board and they come up with a different idea or a different withdrawal plan, it does latch you in if they do that.
And currently there is no bond, is there? we're in a good position to make this decision.
That was looked at as part of the feasibility study itself, is what we're looking at now. We brought back to 2004, looked at that plan, and saw what we did. And clearly, the plan said, it actually recommended, continue looking at things. Look at other school districts, see if you can make other arrangements. These are all things. We took that 2004 feasibility study, and we engaged it. That's really what brought us here today. I think, Todd, you brought up a point about fund balance. One of the things that in this 2011, 2012 year that was unique, and maybe in other years as well, is that you may recall we separated out the SAU budget. And that's why you have a separate warrant article. Prior to that, we used to take the SAU budget and put it into the warrant article next to the operating budget altogether. Farmington took and split it up. However, they continued, because it got passed by both districts, they continued to take their $800,000 and put it into their operating budget. Now, I don't have all the particulars on the values and everything, but common sense says, and I've asked the question in one of our meetings, how does that work, and I'm quiet, but there's $800,000 in their operating budget, $800,000 in the SAU budget. They fundraised twice. So I don't know what happened out of all of it. That's their business. But it does make me wonder, where does some fund balance money come from? If in fact they truly raised and appropriated per their warrant articles, or did they make some corrective action after they realized it? I don't know that answer. But that, along with other anomalies such as that $8 million or $9 million budget that got cut down to $1 million, certainly would render a fund balance on their balance sheet, which could fund those capital warrant articles, trust funds that were just mentioned. So in fact, it may not be in their operating budget, but we may certainly have contributed, as the superintendent said, to those trust funds for those improvements.
Can I ask one more question? You said, those specific items that you were saying for paving wouldn't be, but would a bond affect us?
Our warrant, our area agreement right now says no debt service, I believe.
Yeah, debt service is excluded from the application.
So even if you decided to take out a bond for whatever, the Farmington decided to take out a bond for whatever reason, we're just paying rent?
Yes,
Yeah,
that's
you're not
correct.
responsible.
But if we wanted to do something different as far as educating
We're
students,
locked in.
we then have to pay a penalty towards that
Yeah.
bond
Okay,
proportionally.
thank you.
Farmington initiated a withdrawal committee. Again, 2012. They initiated it back then, at any point in time they could. Interest rates, I don't know how everybody feels about the economy right now, but from what I've been watching, they're starting to track upward very solidly and slowly, working their way up. Keep that in mind. Tuition rates continue to increase to 75% annually, and then, in essence, you saw how filled this room was today with 85 people in here, from what I heard from the supervisor and checklist. So we have that limited use of town hall, which is our only community center.
If Farmington were to apply for a bond for whatever, does Middleton have any option to not be part of that bond?
Yes, there is a vote that could occur in the statute. I'd have to go back to statute and reread it, but I recall this from Valley View, because when Valley View went up, there was community concern that we never had the opportunity to vote not to be part of it, and it just went ahead, nor was it brought to our attention formally. However, years had already passed, so there's really no, you get into a legal morass on it all, but there is provision in the area statute that says if the receiving district enters into a bond, there's some kind of process that they have to alert the sending districts. It gives them the opportunity, I believe, to start another withdrawal committee and go through this process all over again.
One more question. If in fact, we're paying based on the operational budget, and it changes, and therefore you end up at the end of the fiscal year with funds, the fund balance. If we have indeed contributed in any portion to those funds, is any portion of that returned to Middleton?
There's no record of that. So, Todd, you want to talk about this a little bit?
Sure.
It's a transcription first.
So the blue line is, again, using the percentages that were showed in the previous slides, so we projected what the area costs would be over the next 10 years. And then the red line is the Middleton Governor Wentworth tuition agreement and the building of our own school, the impact on the budget. So you can see the hump there in 2016, like we showed in the tax rate. But then it comes back down, and at 10 years out is where the two budgets come together. So we'll be operating at a slightly higher budget for the first 10 years, and then at that 10-year point, the area agreement costs continue to climb exponentially, where the Middleton ones seem to cross that line and continue linearly.
So just thinking of the building itself as a capital improvement, it's a capital building. It's there, it's solid, and it also provides additional shared use. So it provides a strong consistency. In addition, we then have the ability to manage our own local control as far as funding of the school, education curriculum. So there's a much more direct interactivity. So there's some things in here that we're not accounting for. You heard Jack Whitman mention about volunteering. These are all things that really help out a school tremendously in different ways, whether it's the quality of education of the girls, or in supplementing some of the staffing requirements. Stratford Regional Planning, they have a regional master plan they developed in 2005. So I highlighted out 4 communities here, 2 of which are in the Governor Wentworth Regional School District, Brookfield and New Durham, then there's Farmington and Middleton. So if you look at 2015 for Middleton, it says 1,940. Well, that's not right. But if you go back to 2010, it says 1,800. It's pretty close. So it seemed like they were on track as far as data going forward, but I think we all know what happened in 2008. We hit the Great Recession. And it certainly seemed to stunt, growth. Not only, perhaps just in our area, but in others as well. But what is interesting is if you go to the far right, the original projections between 2000 and 2020 is Brookfield 49%, Farmington 34.4%, Middleton 43.4%, and New Durham 60%. There's a couple factors in here that I see, and as I think about things, is one, we all know the Rochester Highway project went through. That's now 2-lane. I don't know if anybody feels like they're getting through there quicker, but I know this much. I got my foot right on that pedal doing 70 through there now. I couldn't do that before. So,
Yeah, you said it real loud.